sharing with you in this video how to stop negative self-talk and become a creator. And so this is going to be one of those videos where it's not going to be necessarily me giving you advice, telling you what to do, but it's going to be me sort of helping you to make your own decisions in your life and coming to your own peace and your own integrity and your own independence and your own way of thinking. And so that's what this video is going to be about, is bringing you to a space of being a creator once again. And then so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to stop negative self-talk and become a creator is simply to not believe in it, to not believe in the negative self-talk. And it might sound simple, it might sound like, just sort of a obvious concept. It's like, well, obviously just don't believe in it. Like that sounds too airy-fairy and like obvious. It's like, shouldn't there be something deeper? Not really. Oftentimes you'd be very surprised where if you have a negative situation that's happening in your life, can you simply just not believe in it? So you see the thought, you see the fear, you see the concern. Now you can choose to believe in it, or you can choose to not believe in it. Now, of course, if you're identified with it and if you're sort of hypnotized by the problem and you don't have space from the problem, there's no possibility of not believing in it. But from this point, from listening to this video from now that you see that you can look at a problem in such a manner, really it's a choice from that point. Maybe when you're hypnotized by it, that's different. Maybe if you lose yourself in it, that's different. But once you regain your consciousness back into who you really are, ground back into this present moment, from that space of being connected to the truth of your essence and the actuality of the present moment, from that space, you can actually not believe in anything that you don't want to believe in. And it sounds so obvious, and it sounds so, it can kind of almost like make us argumentative in a way. It can almost like make us do this, because the truth is that what you want to start to realize is that there's nothing to be argumentative about. All we have to start to realize is that we don't need to fight for our ego. We don't need to fight for this identity that's making us miserable. That's really the key at the end of the day. Like if you're fighting for something that's making you miserable and not create what you want, stop believing in it. Stop giving it energy, which leads me to the second thing that I want to share with you in this video, which is just to stop focusing on it. So we always have to remember that energy is always going to flow where attention goes. So quite literally, all you have to do is just stop giving it attention. This is not about disrespecting it. This is not about dishonoring it. This is not about saying that, negative self-talk is not a part of existence. And it's not about I'm not saying to not fully come to terms with it. But what I'm saying is that if you see it, you do realize that, in fact, it is a choice to just not give it attention. You have power to control your attention where you want it to go. And if you don't even have power to control your attention where you want it to go, well, don't you think that's a little bit problematic that you can't control your attention? You know what I mean? It's like, because there's many things that we can't control in our life. You know what I mean? It's like you can try to control your thoughts, but really you have over 20,000, 50,000 thoughts per day. Studies have shown, I don't remember the exact number, but it's some very, very high number. So it's like you can only control so many thoughts, right? And that's really ties back into the video, because it's like you're going to have negative self-talk one way or another. But the key is not to try to remove the negative self-talk necessarily. It's to take responsibility and ownership and control over only the things that you actually have control over. So let's just, make it really, really simple. Do you have actual control over if you have negative self-talk pop up in your mind? Not really. No, you really don't. You know what I mean? Because it's like you might just have a negative self-talk come in. Who knows where it came from necessarily? You could say oh, it's a trauma. You could say, oh, it's this, maybe because of that, all these different stories, right? But it's like ultimately there it is in that moment. And what are you going to do with that situation? You have a choice, either to continue to feed it more attention or to say that, I can't control this negative self-talk, but one thing that I do have control over is my own attention. That's where you regain back your free will and your sovereignty as a spiritual being, is to say that you can't control your thoughts necessarily. You know what I mean? It's like you can't necessarily control the external world in one particular way always, but one thing you can control 100%, no matter for what happens, is your spiritual connection to the truth. That's something that you can control. That's the number one thing that you can control in your life, actually. You can't necessarily control almost anything else because you own nothing in this life. Nothing in this life. You're going to have to give it all back to the Creator, to God, to the universe at the end of the day anyway. So why not fully just give it all back to God right now and stop giving your attention to negative things in this present moment as a result of it? Why not just let go of the negativity and let go of the problems and let go of the challenges and let go of the issues, because we realize that we don't have to give it attention. You know what I mean? It's like you can continue to play out the story for as long as you feel that you need to play out the story, but then eventually it's like, can we get to a point where we don't actually just want to give it attention anymore? It's like you want to stop sort of adding fuel to the fire. That's ultimately what you want to stop doing. And then so the way to actually do this is to pull back your attention back into yourself, back into the present moment. But then as well, to conclude this video, another thing that you can do to really amplify this process is to understand that what you want to do is sort of transmute the energy and focus on who you want to be instead, who you prefer to be instead. This is what's going to be a really powerful thing to do, because what you're going to start to do is you're going to start to take all that negativity, you're going to choose to bring back your attention to this present moment. Stop fueling energy to your mind towards things that you don't even like, that don't resonate for you. Come back into the present, come back into a space of neutrality, come back into a space of just isness. It just is what it is. You know, from that space, what you're going to start to realize is that now you have more power to focus on who you prefer to be instead. And then what you can start to do is choose that person that you want to be. Commit to that identity that you want to be in your life. Do it every single day. Have a commitment, have a discipline, have a consistency in the way that you act. But then all you want to do is do it from a space of spiritual sovereignty and purity, and then do that as your top value as you go throughout your pursuits and your dreams and the things that you're creating in your life. And then here's the thing is that you have to see that, quote unquote, the devil, so to speak, will try to convince you why you shouldn't come from a space of being connected to God and to the truth and to the essence of what is the present moment. It's going to say that, you know what, instead of caring about the essence of the present moment, the devil's going to say you should focus on money as a priority. It's going to say you should focus on something out there as a priority. It's going to say that you're going to need to focus on this to be happy and to find peace. But then you remember that you can't find peace in the future. You can only find peace in the present moment right now, which, of course, the present moment is the only moment that exists. There is no other moment than this present moment now. So you can't find it. Like, you can have a journey in the present moment towards a future that becomes the present, but it's still the same present. There's only the present moment. So the peace, you're only going to find it now in the present moment, not one day in the future. Because again, the present moment is the only moment that exists. So from this space, it's much easier to focus on who you actually want to be in your life, because there's no internal resistance to the negative self-talk that's happening inevitably so. And then you can easily transmute it into something that you actually prefer to do instead. And then that's a really powerful thing that's going to naturally just make you a creator in your life. When you naturally stop trying to control your thoughts, when you stop trying to control your emotions, you just connect back to the essence of the present moment. What you'll naturally find as you go through your life is that everything just sort of becomes easier to create for you. It becomes easier for you to start to create the things that you prefer. It becomes easier for you to start to do the things that you actually want to do in your life, because there's no internal resistance while you're actually acting. And then here's the thing is that you start to care about the way that you're doing the action rather than just the result that you're getting from the action. So you start to care about how you're doing what you're doing more than whatever it is that you're going to get as a result of doing what you're doing. So it's not about the result anymore. It's about the process of just doing it for its own sake. And then so this is what many people lose while they're being a creator in their life. And then so all of the energy is stuck in their mind. And remember, energy flows where attention goes. So if you're not focused on taking consistent moment-to-moment daily action, you can get stuck in your mind and then stuck in a loop of negative self-talk. Oftentimes, one of the most powerful ways to stop negative self-talk is simply by taking consistent action every single day, and then moment by moment, just taking action. Action can shut off the mind. And I want you to notice as well, where actually it doesn't require any thinking whatsoever to actually take action. It requires no thought. Now, thought can help you to plan, to create a space to take action, but then once you're in the flow of action, it doesn't require any more thought. And then so from this space again of neutrality, that's where I believe it's very easy to be a natural creator. I believe that we're naturally transformative beings. It's very easy for us to shift from reality to reality. And of course, there's going to be resistance. Of course, there's going to be problems. But then when you come from this space of neutrality, it becomes still, so to speak, much easier in the sense that there's no internal resistance to that sort of negativity coming up that's out of alignment with the next reality that you're creating for yourself, that now you take ownership for, because you see that you are actually choosing what you want to do in your life, rather than just, of course, believing that you're a victim. So really what this process is about is removing all the victim mentality from your life. That's what this is really doing. It's making it so that rather than seeing that you're a victim to your circumstances, you can see every circumstance as an opportunity to simply take more action, and then to execute more, and then not to just get the result, which is fine to want that, but then to do it for its own sake, for its own, just because you're happy to do it for its own sake and for its own pleasure and for its own happiness. That's a really powerful thing to do. And then again, this is going to start to remove all the victim mentality from your life.